Where Are You Going, Hero Girl? Written and read by Waltzing the Fae Paths. Chapter 5. Build a Bedroom. Where are the others? Eri-chan asks, sitting at the kitchen table and carefully eating the rice and salmon June had made for breakfast. They're having a chat, June says easily, cutting some radishes to add to Mike's breakfast dish. We're going to turn an old office into a bedroom for us. Would you be okay with sharing? Eri-chan gasps. We can stay together? Of course. Can we share a bed? If you want to, Eri-chan. Are you sure you don't want a bed of your own, though? You can have all of your toys in the bed with you instead of me. I'm not going anywhere, you know? Eri-chan looks down at her lap, trying to hide her emotions. Hey, June says, going to her and taking her hands. Are you okay? Eri-chan shrugged, so June crouched in front of her. I have bad nightmares, June tells her softly, and when I do, I kick and punch in my sleep. I'm a lot stronger than you. I could hurt you. I also train really early in the morning, so I don't want to wake you up when I get up. It would be easy not to wake you if we had separate beds. Nightmares about Kai-sama? Eri whispers. Sometimes. Sometimes it's about my father's or my brother or my master dying. Sometimes it's about me never coming backwards and what could have happened if I'd been caught by Shigaraki, an awful one. June gives a self-deprecating smile. I have a lot of nightmares, Eri-chan. I wouldn't want to hurt you. Then I don't want you to worry, Eri-chan whispers. Can our beds be close to each other? Sure, June chirps. I'll draw the bedroom up for you. Here. How does this look? It's okay. Will we both need desks? For schoolwork. Hey, what colour do you think you'd like the room to be, Eri-chan? June asks. Yellow? Green? My old room was white, Eri-chan says softly. Yamada-san and Aizawa-san have said we can paint our room whatever colour we like, June says cheerfully. We don't want to remember Overhaul at all, right? So if there's something that reminds you of him, we can avoid it until it doesn't hurt anymore. So, for me, I would like to avoid the colour light blue, if that's okay. Eri-chan nods seriously. Then I don't want white. You said green or yellow? Could you show me what sorts of greens or yellows? When the three men finally come out of the office, Eri-chan and June have their heads bent over June's phone, already connected into the Wi-Fi, naturally, never mind that her phone is from 8 years in the future. How is your phone working? Aizawa asks suspiciously. The password is your wedding anniversary and rooftop_gang. It's not hard, June sassed automatically, before freezing and looking up worriedly. I mean, well, that answered that question, Yamada snorted, pulling his hair back and up into a bun. Did you make breakfast for everyone, June-chan? Thank you, it looks delicious. Sorry for taking so long, girls, Oboro adds brightly. Once we're done with breakfast, should we get your room ready? If Eri-chan's up for it, Sho can take you both to get your stuff while we clear everything out, Yamada adds brightly. Oh, if you send me pictures of the options, then I can pick up from here and help shift everything faster, June says awkwardly. She flexes her biceps. I'm strong. Eri-chan looks up at her, then turns to the three men and flexes as well. I am too. Yamada and Oboro immediately start cooing over how cute Eri-chan is. If you go with Aizawa-san, then you can pick everything, Eri-chan, June whispers conspiratorially. Just let me pick my bed, and everything else is yours. What about the room colour? Shoot me a message, June smiles at her. If I can't handle it, I'll let you know. Otherwise, go wild. Are you sure? Aizawa asks her. She smiles at him and waves a hand, saying it's fine. Well, alright then. What bed and sheets do you want? The office is really only big enough for 2 twin singles, June answers immediately. And I would love sheets in purple. What about coverlets? Aizawa asks, bringing out his own phone and taking notes. I know most kids want their favourite heroes on their beds. But mine aren't here yet, June answers wryly. If there's any gang orca or merco or hawks, that's cheap. They're really cool. Or Perez and Mikeson. Actually, never mind. You probably don't want to see yourself on the beds. It's fine. It's fine. Yamada cheers. Sho, do you want me to just put the paperwork in our room until we can get them to our offices? Please, Zashi. Obro, do you want to come with me or stay with Zashi? I should probably come with you to help with all the groceries, right? It would be helpful, but you don't have to come out if you'd rather stay and rest some more. No, I'll come, Obro insisted immediately. He looked down at the waistcoat ensemble he had changed back into and said wryly, I need new clothes too, I think. You look very pretty, Eri-chan tells him seriously. Thanks, he laughs, but it's not really my style. They finished breakfast quickly, with Obro and Eri-chan doing the dishes while Shota went to get changed. Once it is just June and Yamada, he gives a bright yeah, and they start to gut the desks in the office of their filing. Shota doesn't know why he was surprised that their simple shopping trip turned into something rather like a disaster. It had been going too smoothly. Eri-chan picked out a handful of outfits for herself and for June. Obro were few to last until he could start to pay for himself, and some toiletries for everyone. It had been fine. The linen had been easy. 2 sets of purple for June, one light and one dark, a grand orca and a merco doona cover, and a pink set and a sunny yellow for Eri-chan with a flowery patterned doona cover and another covered in kittens. Shota had gotten Eri-chan a unicorn plushie that he thought was cute and which had caught her eyes, a colouring-in book and bright pencils, and a few learn-to-readers. June and Obro received stationery enough for their first week back at UA, Obro new goggles and trainers, and June some Hawks patterned socks. That's all fine. It's once they have paid and are getting ready to carry the mini bags back to the car that things start to fall apart. Obro, grinning brightly, creates a cloud to help hold everything, and the moment their bags are on the cloud, which is a little darker than Shota remembers them ever being, they fall through. Obro yelps. There's a fizzle of black and purple through the cloud like lightning, and the clouds turn into a portal. Obro curses and puts it out, and the 3 of them stare. Was that supposed to happen? Eri-chan whispers, clinging to one of Shota's legs. No, Obro answers. Do you know where you sent everything? Shota asks him, but before Obro can do more than shake his head and open his mouth, Shota's phone goes off with Hizashi's ringtone. Did a bunch of bags just appear there? Shota says immediately, trying to put off Hizashi's screams. Yes! Sho, did Obro mean to? You could have let us know that was going to happen so we could get out of the road. They landed on poor June's shoulder, and it's a wonder they didn't throw it out. Hizashi is loud enough that Shota doesn't even need to worry about speakerphone, holding his phone back enough that he won't go deaf himself. Obro winces and takes Shota's phone, already babbling. I'm so sorry, June-chan. That wasn't supposed to happen. There's a scuffle over the phone, and then June's voice. No worries, I love the socks. Shota sighs, takes the phone back, and says firmly, We'll be more careful. How does the room look? Gutted, Hizashi sighs. Everything's in our room. Don't worry about paint after all. June-chan and I have covered the wall in pictures. And we've shifted the desks around, so there'll be room for the beds too. We're going to get beds next, Shota says, smiling small and soft. If Obro can do the warp gate again, we'll call before we push the beds through. Alright, be safe. Love you. You too. Shota looks at Obro with a raised eyebrow. So, I guess June only reversed the programming on you, not the extra quirk. Obro scowls down at his hands. Think UA will let me into a training ground over the next couple of days to figure it out? Good thing I've got keys. Shota deadpans, then turns to check in with Eri-chan, who no longer has quite the death grip on his pants. Are you okay? Yes, she whispers. It was only a little bit scary. Shota nods at her and ruffles her hair. You were very brave. Are you ready to go look at beds? Eri-chan thinks about it before nodding. Are you still okay to walk? Eri-chan hesitates over this a little bit, long enough that Oboro offers to give her a piggyback. They end up spending the whole trip to the furniture store explaining what that is, and yes, it's okay for her to ask for one from them. Yes, even Yamada-san. And they would love to give her piggybacks. She wasn't too big at all. When they reach the shop, Oboro's eyes light up at all of the options, and Eri-chan stares slack-jawed. Shota sighs and starts leading them to the single beds. June texts Shota saying, "Whatever is cheapest is okay," so they pick hers out first before trying to pick something for Eri-chan. Eri-chan wants the same bed they got for June, but they'd managed to get the last of that particular brand of good singles for her. When Shota and Oboro explain this to Eri-chan, the little girl looks like she wants to cry, but all she says is a very soft, "Oh," looking at their feet and not meeting either of their eyes. Oboro flicks his fingers at Shota to grab his attention and signs a very slow, "What now?" "Eri-chan," Shota says very softly, crouching so that he is on the same level as the little girl. "They don't have any other beds like the one we've picked for June, but these ones could be good for you instead." "There's a top bunk," Oboro says excitedly. "You can be high up and have extra storeroom for your desk and your drawers under here. Isn't it cool?" "Or this one has a shelf with it. You can have room for books and toys right above your head," Shota offers her, pointing. "Your bed can be cooler than June-chan's," Oboro crows softly, crouching down too. "So, what do you think, Eri-chan?" Ruby red eyes flick across the different beds, and finally, hesitatingly, Eri-chan points to the top bunk. "An excellent choice, Eri-chan," Oboro cheers, while Shota pats her head and goes to find a salesperson to speak to about Eri-chan's choice. Within 15 minutes, they're on the phone to Hisashi and June to let them know they're coming, and Oboro is, somehow successfully, creating another warp gate straight into the girls' new room. By the time Shota drives them all home, Zashi and June have the whole room set up and ready. Shota is glad Zashi had a camera at the ready. The look of awe on Eri-chan's face when she sees her half of the room for the first time will stay with them for the rest of their lives. End of chapter 5. In case you were wondering about why my voice sounds so horrible, guess who caught COVID? Ha 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 ha.